Hello and greetings from San Antonio, Texas. Again, my name is David Crow. For those of you that have watched before, you know that I just share what's laid on my heart to share by God. And today I'm wearing my Today's Test is Tomorrow's Testimony shirt because that's what today's about. Is kind of testifying to what's been going on in my life. It's been a rocky road for sure, but there's definitely light at the end of the tunnel. So let's get to it. Today I was walking around the neighborhood and I was listening to Brandon Lake's album King of Hearts. The first song that played was Plans. And I felt God talking to me last night as I went to the the Saturday service at CBC. And then I felt him talking to me again this morning on my walk and definitely through that song. And I feel like I'm supposed to share this with whoever wants to hear this story. As some of you know, I was laid off from my position as a safety director in February. It was definitely a shock to the system here around the house. My kids have been awesome. We cut way back on things. They picked up work where they could find it. Both of them are working at a car wash that just opened not too far from us. They've picked up other jobs to help make money and ease the burden during this time for sure. I'm really proud of how well the three of us have managed things and finances during this time of unemployment. And let me tell you, I was not prepared for the shock of being unemployed. I had no idea what this looked like. I have worked from the time I can remember. My first official job was way back in Borger, Texas, working at Brahms ice cream store just before I turned 16. And I really thought that I was just going to be able to pick up another position easily with the safety training experience that I gained in this last position. Again, I've never not been employed. So usually if I leave one job, there's another one waiting. This was very, very different for me. Was not the case at all. I applied for over 200 different jobs. And I wound up getting 4 interviews for safety jobs. I got 1 interview for an online educational company, and then I got one for a private school to teach. We're going to talk more about that in just a minute. Again, I don't understand this journey at all, but this has to be God's plan for me. But today I am announcing that I am starting my 30th year in education tomorrow at Bracken Christian School as I attend in service for the first time since 2004 as a teacher, not an administrator. I'm teaching environmental science, biology, chemistry, physical science, and also a leadership course elective that I am designing. I'm really excited about the leadership course. I've called it Strategic Executive Leadership. And it's something that I had started at Teheta with my Leadership Academy that I would run for kids after school. And now I get to expand on that as a full year elective. So I'm very, very excited about that class. Not that I'm not excited about teaching science, but I really have a passion for sharing the things that I learned that made me very productive as a campus leader. When I retired in 2023 from public education, I really did not see myself going back in any way, shape, or form. I had this second career that I was starting in the private sector. I enjoyed the schedule. I enjoyed being able to work from home. I really enjoyed the pace of the job compared to what I was used to as a high school principal. But I do remember saying at some point that I felt like I had more to give and that maybe I had retired too soon. It's funny how things work. I got a random text one day in the fall of 2025 from a former leadership colleague of mine asking if I had renewed my certificate after I retired. I told her I had not. I had no reason to renew that certificate, but I didn't see why she wouldn't be able to if she wanted to stay current since she had just retired from her position early in the summer. So, this is what I do all the time. I just decided to go into the system, into the TEAL system where you can renew your certificate to see what that process looked like in case I could help somebody. I went ahead and renewed my certification. I paid the $20 or $25 fee and boom, it was done. I had no idea how significant that would be in 2026. So back to the applications. I started applying to private school openings after spring break as the safety career seemed to be dead in the water. See, when you retire, there's a large penalty to return to public education, and many school districts don't want to deal with that penalty. Some will now hire and do the hire retire thing because that penalty can be passed on to the employee and then it's just deducted from their salary. During this time, I also registered as a sub for NEISD and Comal ISD. I wound up subbing 4 days at a middle school for a principal who was out, I think sometime in either late March or early April, somewhere in that time. And again, I didn't think that was very significant at the time either. But when I got back to school, when I got back in the school building, I realized how much I enjoyed working with kids and teachers. It was a little bit chaotic. I mean, it was back in middle school, and I haven't been in middle school in a minute, but it felt good. And one thing that I started doing as I was out in the halls during passing periods or in the cafeteria during lunches is any student I saw that was wearing a shirt or a hoodie that had a Christian message on it, I would tell them, like, hey, I like your shirt. Just something subtle on the side. They'd look at me a little bit weird because they don't know who I am, but they usually would smile and some of them would say thank you. You know, a lot of middle school kids, they just don't talk. They just, they'll look at you and keep moving on. And that's okay. I just felt something in my heart like, hey, here's a kid displaying a Christian message or witnessing through their attire, and they should be acknowledged and shown some appreciation for sharing their witness. As a believer, like I should be reinforcing this that a kid's got the courage to do that in a public school setting. Fast forward a little bit, and one of the positions that I applied for was at Bracken Christian School. And within 2 hours of applying for that job, I was asked to come in for an interview. I interviewed and it went really, really well. I was given a job offer soon after that, and I accepted it. At the time, I thought I was teaching chemistry, physical science, and then the leadership elective. Fast forward to July, and I find out that I'm teaching 5 preps, not 3. I was a little overwhelmed by that, but I have since learned that most of the teachers there at Bracken are teaching the same number of preps. And I was telling a friend of mine yesterday, if they can do it, so can I. So here we are. Another new chapter in my life opens tomorrow, year 30 as an educator. I ask that you pray for me in this new season of my life. I know in my heart that this has to be God's plan. There's no other explanation for this. I also ask that if you feel led, please support me as I am buying things that I need for the classroom. I don't have a wish list. I see a lot of people putting out wish lists. I just want to make sure I have the things I need. These are not wishes, these are needs. And so my ask is simply to donate to my cause if you feel led. The best way to support this cause is to donate to my Cash App, $DCROWE55, or to my Venmo account at DCROWE55. Anything helps, as I've already purchased posters and other classroom supplies that are needed for this room. I'm not one to ask for help. Anybody that knows me knows that that's just not my style. I'm a little too prideful to usually ask when I need help. But I'm asking today. I appreciate anyone who might be willing to donate at this time. Either way, my kids are going to walk into a classroom with a teacher who's ready to go, ready to teach, ready to inspire, and ready to motivate. So let's go back to that song that I was listening to this morning as I was walking. It's called Plans by Brandon Lake. And here's the opening of that song. And it grabbed me. I mean, it really grabbed me this morning. I've got a hope and a future, still true through the thick and thin. When it's hard to see, I'll choose to believe that you see what I haven't yet. When I'm afraid, you remind me I'm in your capable hands. I look back and notice it's you that's been the closest to help me never forget. You have good plans. And if it's not good, then you're not finished yet. How good is that song? Like I said, it grabbed me. It hit me so hard today. And as I was walking, I just started talking out loud to God, like, are you asking me to share? Are you asking me to share this story? Are you really asking me to ask for some financial support? And I felt like the answer was yes. And so I felt led to record this today. Again, it was not my plan to record today, but I am going to be obedient to what he puts on my heart. So thank you for listening. Thank you for those who may contribute to this cause. It is much appreciated. I am not sure what the future holds, but I know who holds my future. Until the next time, may the Lord bless and keep you.